A few months ago, Shane Dawson posted his first video back on YouTube in over a year. He made his return with a 3-part series, only to disappear again shortly after. It's now been 3 months since Shane has posted anything on YouTube, and he's back once again. Shane returned this week with a video about a lawsuit he's involved in and a change of plans for his return. It's a mess, so let's get into it. As many of you guys know, Shane Dawson was off the internet for well over a year. He still appeared in Ryland's vlogs, and he slowly pushed his way back onto YouTube. Even though Shane removed himself from YouTube, he still frequently posted on Instagram and even sold his merch during his so-called break. Shane's first video back to YouTube was an introduction to his new series, The Haunting of Shane Dawson. His comeback video has over 6 million views, but the next 2 installments in the series only received half that at 3 million each. Now don't get me wrong, 3 million is still a massive number, but compared to some of Shane's videos from before he left, it's not even comparable. I think Shane's return series really fell flat for a lot of people. When you think of Shane and his spooky content, you probably think of the old days when it was Andrew, Garrett, Ryland, Morgan, and Shane.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh.
Ew. That door's... Okay, I'm home.
Shane's old ghost hunting videos were probably some of his best content. This was long before the docuseries era, and it was way before Shane and Jeffrey were a thing. Shane Dawson fans really fell in love with not only that type of content, but also the friendship they all shared. For Shane to just go away for nearly 2 years and come back to try and recreate the same type of content without the same friends just didn't work. After Shane posted that series, he disappeared again. Shane had just moved to Colorado with Ryland. Ryland was trying to keep up with his podcast with Lizzie doing long distance. They were traveling back and forth to get their LA house ready for sale, and I think Shane even caught COVID along the way. Months went by, and it was looking like Shane was disappearing from YouTube once again. He still managed to appear in Ryland's vlogs though, because the thumbnails that had Shane in them always got triple the views. Well, Shane returned this week with a video titled The Lawsuit of Shane Dawson. Before the video starts, Shane teases a clip from his new series that he's working on, and it sounds like it's going to be more conspiracy theories. I guess the video is taking longer than expected because he said until that's done, here's something we don't want. Anyways, the video starts off with Shane talking to his new cameraman, Chris. Now, this is no hate to Chris because I don't even know who he is, but I think the cameraman thing feels really forced.
Yes, Jamie? Can you imagine? Oh my god! Oh, I wish. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. What was I talking about? I don't know.
Andrew and Shane had such good chemistry between them, and the conversation always felt natural and the laughs didn't feel forced. I kind of get the feeling Chris feels a lot of pressure to live up to that and almost mimic the same feel that Shane's old videos had. It's kind of like when Halloween Town replaced Marnie with that girl from Aquamarine when we were like 8 years old and we were all like, I don't think so. You can't replace the same feeling with someone else. It just doesn't work. Once again, no hate to Chris because it's totally not his fault. But yeah, so Chris and Shane were talking, and Shane brings up something really bizarre that he's been dreaming about with Ryland.
Although I did have a dream last night, and I told Ryland about this, he got very upset. I had a dream that he had a vagina, and nothing changed. Like, it was, everything was like the same. Like,
anyways, then Ryland comes in, and they start talking about their wedding. As I'm sure you guys know, Shane and Ryland got engaged back in 2019, and a lot of people were wondering if they had a secret wedding during Shane's cancellation. Turns out they didn't, and Ryland is actually really mad about it.
It's all becoming clear why he won't marry me.
oh my god, he screenshotted that on my phone. That's one of the things. What? Okay.
He won't marry me. He proposed. And every time he gets sad about this house, I was like, well, remember the good times, like when we got engaged and came back to this house. And that's one of my favorite nights ever. But now it's like he won't even marry me. It's been how many years we've been engaged? 3 coming up here. We're going to be married by common law before we get married.
Do you have a knife in your back pocket?
Yeah, just in case you won't marry me.
Shane made all these excuses saying that he hates weddings and he's scared he won't fit into his suit. But apparently the real reason they aren't married is because they never made it past the guest list. I'm sure Shane was planning on inviting so many influencers, but since their cancellation, no one really wants to be associated with them anymore. I mean, even Shane's best friend, Trisha, isn't in his life anymore. It's probably good they never got around to doing the invites because they would be redoing all of them. Then they moved on to Shane's next project. Shane said he really wants to do a podcast again and start interviewing people. He said he went to a psychic and the psychic told him that right now he's resting his throat by not talking, but she thinks this year is the year that he needs to start using his voice. Shane said this really got him thinking about doing a podcast again. Shane used to do a podcast with a co-host called Shane and Friends, and he interviewed a ton of YouTubers and had over 100 episodes. The only problem is, Shane said a lot of problematic things during his time on the podcast, and a lot of those clips were used during his cancellation. Shane said he's a different person now, and he wouldn't be saying offensive things anymore. It sounds like the podcast is going to be about a wide variety of topics like conspiracy theories, but also interviewing celebrities. And this isn't a situation where Shane says he wants to do something, then never does it.
Why he won't marry me.
I think he's serious about the podcast because he even made an Instagram page for it. The name is Shane Dawson Podcast, and he even drew a banner. He captioned the banner, wrote this on the road trip, and took a screenshot. Then I noticed the time. And the time was 1:11. So I think Shane really thinks that all these situations, from the psychic to the time, is a sign that he needs to follow through and do a podcast. He even asked on Instagram stories what guest everyone would like to see. Then we get into the lawsuit. All of a sudden, Shane cuts and puts a disclaimer that says, "This is a parody. There is nothing wrong with Chuck E. Cheese pizza. This is a comedy bit and the conspiracy about their pizza is 100% fiction. We're just having some fun. Love you, Chucky." So someone asked Shane to go back to Chuck E. Cheese and find out if the pizza is still wonky. If you guys remember, Shane did a whole conspiracy video about the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese. A lot of people were noticing that Chuck E. Cheese pizza looks a lot different from your normal pizza place. Normally, all the pieces are different sizes, they don't fit together, and it almost looks like they're all from a different pizza. The conspiracy is that Chuck E. Cheese was taking uneaten pizza slices and putting them all back together to make a new pizza. Shane decided to investigate this theory, and to his surprise, the pizza didn't match. It turned into this huge thing online, and Shane's video got over 40 million views. This theory seriously went viral. It was on radio stations around the world, the news was talking about it.
Finally, we do not stitch together old pizza. That's the very strange statement Chuck E. Cheese was forced to make after a popular YouTuber's conspiracy video went viral.
And even Ellen featured it on her show. As you guys can guess, Chuck E. Cheese didn't like that Shane brought so much attention to this conspiracy theory, and they wanted it to end. Shane said they actually threatened to sue him, and it was really big and really scary.
Here's the thing. Yes, they did threaten to sue me, and it was a whole thing.
Apparently, a bunch of Chuck E. Cheese employees had to come out, and they were trying to explain why the pizza was shaped the way it was. They were trying to say they used homemade dough, so it never came out round and perfect. They also tried to say they were using a big heavy cutter, and some employees couldn't hold it to cut it straight.
A bunch of Chuck E. Cheese employees came out and were like posting things being like, "It's not recycled, we don't do that."
Just a bunch of crazy explanations that didn't really make sense.
Hey, I was just wondering if I could place an order for pickup. I'm sorry. Could I get a medium cheese pizza?
Large.
Oh, could I make them both large? I'm sorry.
A large half and half.
And can I also get a large half and half?
Gotta customize it. See what they really do.
And then that's all.
So they made their way to Chuck E. Cheese to see if they fixed the problem. Shane said that he took these past 2 years to work on himself, and he wanted to see if Chuck E. Cheese did the same. Rylan had to go in to get the pizza because Shane said that he's apparently banned. Rylan went in, got the pizza, they had to eat it in the car because of Shane's ban, they set up all these lights and opened the pizza. And to their surprise, the pizza was the same.
Oh? I mean, decent. Doesn't look like the same pie. These two are misfits for sure. Like, how does that pop all the way out?
Oh, wait.
Ooh, it looks delicious.
Wait. Wait.
Oh, this is not.
Wait, can we eat some?
This is not what I was expecting. No, okay, here's the thing. Okay, you know what? Let's debunk it.
Even though the pizza had the same problems as last time, Shane kept putting up the disclaimer saying there's nothing wrong with their pizza, this is just a parody, and kept saying over and over again how good the pizza is. Now, I don't know. The pizza they got honestly didn't look too bad to me. Yeah, it wasn't cut totally even, but it did look like it matched more than the one from the conspiracy video. But you guys know how Shane is. He had to act so shocked, he made the face and put on the whole production. Shane ended the video off with a pinned comment that said, "I know this is probably not what you want, but I really enjoyed making it. Hope you liked it. Excited to start making more videos." So I guess Shane is back now. He's starting the podcast, he has new videos on the way, he's fully back. Of course, there's so many mixed opinions on his return. Some people are happy that he's back and missed his content, and others are just shocked that he's still posting after everything that happened. But I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about Shane coming back and starting a new podcast? Especially since the last podcast he did didn't have the best outcome. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.